This isn't the real Caesar's palace, is it?
What do you mean?
Did Caesar live here?
No.
I didn't think so.
I went to Vegas last weekend. Pretty crazy.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
Gentlemen, welcome to Las Vegas.
Why don't you give me half the money you were gonna bet? Then we'll go out back, I'll kick you in the nuts, and we'll call it a day.
Some guys just can't handle Vegas.
Hey there, and welcome to episode number 26 of the Jeff Does Vegas podcast. My name is Jeff, and welcome aboard this podcast trip to the best city on the planet, fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. Before we get things underway, I want to take a moment to thank my guest on the last episode of the podcast, casino host Steve Sear. If you haven't had a chance to check out episode number 25 yet, I'd highly recommend you go back and do so. Steve took us deep into the world of hosting high rollers in Las Vegas and shared some fantastic stories. And don't forget, if you want to learn more about Steve, check out the book Whale Hunt in the Desert, Secrets of a Vegas Superhost, available on Amazon right now. You can link there from the show notes at jeffdoesvegas.com. And while you're on the website, be sure to hit the audience survey link. If you've got a quick 5 minutes to spare, it's your chance to share your thoughts on the podcast. I'd love to get your feedback and find out what you like or don't like about the show. It's also my chance to learn a bit about my listeners so I can tailor the podcast experience to suit you. All right, let's get down to business. Let's start, as usual, with Vegas news you can use. By the time you're listening to this podcast, a longtime Las Vegas hotspot will have shut down. Hyde, the 12,000 square foot indoor-outdoor nightclub best known for its amazing views of the Bellagio fountain, shut its doors this past weekend after an amazing 8-year run on the Las Vegas Strip. One of Hyde's claims to fame was its $250,000 bottle service package that actually allowed guests to control the Bellagio fountains with the push of a button. The closure of Hyde isn't just a way to update a club on the Strip, it's an opportunity to make some extra cash. Up until now, the spot was being run by SBE Entertainment, meaning MGM Resorts, who owns the Bellagio, wasn't getting their hands on as much cash as they potentially could if they were running the place. So, although there's no official word on what's going to be replacing Hyde, guaranteed it'll be owned and operated directly by MGM Resorts. And thanks to Vital Vegas for the heads up on this closure, news coming out mid last week that the flagship location of Sprinkles Cupcakes on the Link Promenade would be permanently closing its doors. According to a notice posted at the location, Sprinkles plans on opening 2 new locations along the Las Vegas Strip this fall. The Link Promenade location was perhaps best known for its Cupcake ATM, which was promoted as being the first of its kind in the world. No word from the Link Promenade on what's going to be replacing Sprinkles, and no word from Sprinkles on where their 2 new strip locations are going to be. And it's not as big of a sale as El Dorado Resorts buying up Caesars Entertainment, but it's still a big deal, and it'll likely change the face of the Las Vegas Strip. A New York investment firm, Gindy Capital, announced last week that they just dropped $172 million for 9.5 acres of real estate along Las Vegas Boulevard. They've bought up the Hawaiian Marketplace Retail Plaza, along with the single-story cable center shops next door. Although there's no firm plans in place, word is that Gindy is working with their development and design teams to build a new shopping, entertainment, and dining experience. This isn't Gindy's first rodeo on the Strip. They're the co-owners of the Showcase Mall, a bit further south on Las Vegas Boulevard, which is home to the M&M store, the World of Coca-Cola, a 3-story Hard Rock Cafe, and is rumored to be getting a scaled-down Target store in 2020. And that's Vegas news you can use. On to the show. Area 51. We've all heard the stories and seen it depicted in movies and television. If pop culture is to be believed, Area 51 is a military installation located in the Nevada desert where the United States government conducts classified activities, including but not limited to the storage, examination, and reverse engineering of crashed alien spacecraft, as well as the study of extraterrestrial beings, among other top secret government projects. But again, These are just theories. What's known for sure is that Area 51 has been used by the government for the development and flight testing of specialized stealth aircraft like the U-2 spy plane, the SR-71 Blackbird, and the F-117 Nighthawk. So, what's the Las Vegas connection to Area 51? Well, it's twofold. First off, it's a known fact that many Las Vegas residents are employed at Area 51. If you've ever been sitting at McCarran Airport waiting for your flight home, staring out at the airplanes taking off and landing, you may have noticed a plain white Boeing 737 with a red stripe painted down the side. Those aircraft belong to Janet Airlines, the unofficial name given to the fleet of airplanes that ferry workers from Las Vegas to Area 51 along with other government installations. Secondly, Area 51 is relatively close to Las Vegas. If you're up for a day of driving, it's only about a 3-hour drive out to the gates of Area 51, which is as far as you can actually go without risk of being arrested, or worse. And every year, thousands of people make the trip, hoping against all hope that they'll see something bizarre. The content for this week's episode of the podcast comes courtesy of friend of the show and fellow Las Vegas podcaster Chris Kim, the host of Faces and Aces Las Vegas. A couple of months ago, Chris had the opportunity to talk with Braden and Dan, two of the hosts of the Alien Theorists Theorizing podcast, who themselves made the trek from Las Vegas out to the gates of Area 51 this past spring. After listening to their story on Faces and Aces, I thought it might be cool to share it here on my podcast for your listening enjoyment. So, with the blessing of Chris over at Faces and Aces Las Vegas, please enjoy Alien Theorists Theorizing and their crazy adventure to Area 51.
First off, it's always, before we did this podcast, I've always said I want to drive the extraterrestrial highway. I don't know why, I've always just wanted to do it. So that alone, getting to that sign was like a childhood, I've had few joys in my adult life that throw back to when I was younger, and that was one of them, just seeing that sign as we were coming up.
Yeah.
But I don't think we can start our journey if we had to rent a car first off, and because we're high rollers over at Alien Theorists Theorizing, just budget for days, corporate cards.
Mad money to burn.
Yeah. So we rented a 2017 Dodge Caravan.
Oh, yeah. Lap of luxury, that thing. Oh, man.
Roomy. That's why. We could have gone something compact. We could have gone a Suburban, but, we want to be discreet.
Right.
So the Dodge Caravan, excellent.
Right. So if any feds are watching, they just think you're a van full of soccer moms.
Exactly, right? We can hide under through the radar. Yeah. Dan drove the whole way. Good on him on the whole way there.
Yeah, it was a hike. A bit. It was longer than I thought it would, but not too long, I guess.
How long's the drive?
2 hours? Was it 2 hours?
Yeah,
2.5?
Just over 2 hours. And you definitely, there's a little gas station. There's a big sign. It's last gas for
115 miles, I think. Yeah.
You definitely want to fuel up and top up. Make sure you're all good to go before you get there, because
load up on snacks.
Snacks, all that stuff, because it's so slim pickings once you get to the extraterrestrial highway.
Yeah. I mean, is it weird driving out there? Because I know, you're leaving Las Vegas, there's a lot of houses and communities, but at a certain point, you're just surrounded by desert. Are you kind of looking around going, this is a really bad place for the car to break down?
It doesn't set in right away, because when you first hit the extraterrestrial highway, you kind of turn off. There's the sign you see in all the pictures. So you're all right, you jump out, take your picture. There's nice trees. It's a nice looking road. Then you drive a couple hundred meters, or I don't know what that is, 8,000 miles. I don't know the conversion.
I think that's right, 8,000 miles.
Perfect.
Yeah. Nailed it.
And you see the low flying caution, low flying aircraft sign. So you're damn, I got to stop, take a picture of that. And then shortly thereafter, you run into, we didn't even know about this, there's a 60-foot alien statue on the side of the road, and there's a little gift shop. So right away, you're before you can even kind of get eerie or anything like that, you're oh, a tourist shop. So it kind of set the pace that I was thinking there was going to be a lot of touristy things, kind of the touristy trap, if you will.
Yeah.
But even that place was cool, just tons of X-Files stuff, alien this, alien that, everything in there. It's just a little gift shop.
Alien lunchbox, alien soda.
Yeah, like anything
yeah.
you could think of, like Area 51, bumper stickers or, magnets, whatever you wanted to get, they had there. But we drove out there, and it was kind of a crappy day when we drove out there. It was cloudy, like raining
gloomy.
on and off, really windy when we got out there. So, and then we passed, even before we got to I was kind of sad because I think we went out there and there's like that alien jerky place that was closed. Yeah. And I kind of wanted to see what alien jerky was. But that was
it's delicious.
I bet.
Alien tastes great.
Tastes like
by the way,
don't rub it in.
Space chicken. By the way, what you guys were describing, like that good time, is the beginning to like an Eli Roth movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. You soon get out there and you're like, you get out in the desert and right away you're like, well, this is it. Like, this is where all this shit happens. And you kind of like come through the valley and then it starts to sink in like, we did hey, what if there was a hitchhiker here? Would you pick him up? And we're all like, hell no. Like, hell, he's on his own. But it does get eerie, and especially it was like the clouds were hanging a little low, and you got this really weird effect on the edge of the desert when you were driving. You'd get like the blue haze kind of thing in the corner of your eyes when you turn your head. Very eerie, very eerie. The mood instantly went to, like you said, the Eli Roth horror movie real quick after leaving the gift shop.
That gas station stop, and then you get to Rachel, Nevada. How big is the distance there?
That was
45
most of the drive,
maybe.
I think. That was
45 an hour. I thought it was half.
Yeah.
I can't. But it wasn't bad though. Once you hit turn onto the extraterrestrial highway, like you're excited. You're like got all this anticipation. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go into Rachel. Like I've always wanted to go to the alien diner and stuff. So you're driving, and then you come into Rachel, and you're like, oh shit, there is nothing here.
Yeah, it's literally like 4 trailers. It's like 4. I don't know how they have a town sign. I don't even know how you label that as a town. It's 4 trailers and the little alien, and that's it.
So we of course we're like, okay, well, we're going there. So we pull in. We must have looked like dorks. We're all wearing our alien theorizing shirts. And
like, come on. They've seen worse. It's that.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. We go in there and it's I thought I was expecting touristy, and when you get there, you're like, it's more like truck stop. And so it's like, it's weird because I don't want to use the word underwhelming because it's not. It's just so perfect. It's like you're stepping into a set of a movie when you walk in there because you're like, oh, there is no glitz and glamour here. Like this, we're getting the true experience. So we go in, they have pictures all up on the wall of, the owners. It's an older lady and her daughter and her husband since passed away, and some of the pictures of the brothers, and it shows them. They're everywhere. So we're looking at all the pictures. They got cool pictures of UFOs. They got cool pictures of jets. And if you look really closely, you'll find some hidden alien theorizing business cards now because he stashed them everywhere. So you go in there. It's just a little diner. They've got the old style bar up there, and we sit down and we're going to have lunch, but we're going to meet some other people, and we knew they were about 45 minutes to an hour behind us, so we're like, oh, what's on the menu here? Like, it's a little diner. Let's get some pie. Right? And so you look at it's got apple, strawberry, cherry, and alien berry. Waitress comes, and she's super nice, gives us all coffees, and she's like, what do you guys want? We're like, we want some pie, but what's in the alien berry? And she made a face right away.
Yeah. Well, it's got raisins, and then pretty much synchronized. All of us are like, no.
No, we're good. And now we all ended up getting the apple pie, and I think Zelly got cherry. I'll warn you. Pie's terrible.
Don't get the pie. Don't go for the pie.
I was kind of reluctant about eating anything out there, just the idea of it, because there are no apple orchards out there. There's no farm to table. It's going to be canned fruit pie.
Yeah, I don't know when their stuff comes in, because there is nothing for 100 miles. Anything they get is it's definitely coming out of a can or a freezer. It's
Yeah.
coming out of the freezer.
Yeah, it's like bomb shelter surplus food that they're still trying to work through.
Well, they probably
Atomic apples.
corned beef hash for days.
Well, so we're sitting there, we eat the pie, and we're like, oh, okay, like, choke it down. We're looking around the store, we buy some souvenirs, and now the old lady, she sells little maps. These are really good to get. They're 35 cents. They're just on a piece of paper. And she took Zelly and she gave us all these instructions. She said, okay, if you want to go to the back gate, she drew it on the thing, like, oh, you're going to take, it's the second right when you leave here. She told us where to go, drive down the road. She goes, when you start to see the gate, they don't like if you're facing the gate. So she said, go towards the gate, don't go all the way, turn your car right around. Then she goes, get out, take your pictures, get in your van, and go. Don't be stupid. And we're all like, whoa, like, okay, like, we're not going to be stupid. It's all good. Like, we're going to listen. She's like, no. Don't be stupid. Like, Jesus, she must know. She must have heard about us or something. So we're like, oh, okay, like, it's all like, yeah, no, of course not. Like, we're gonna be respectful. She's like, please, like, just don't be stupid. Yeah, we like, okay, we get it. And then Zell goes, did something happen or anything? And she does like the look over both shoulders, and she goes, just don't be stupid. I can't talk about it. Just don't be stupid. And then walks into like this back little room. So we're sitting there, we're like, what the hell? Like, so we're sitting down there, we're kind of like, well, that was weird. Like, oh, okay, like, little sketched out, no big deal.
Yeah.
She comes back out, but right before we're leaving, and Zell goes again, and he's like, what, did something happen? Like, can you tell us there's something going on here? And she, like, again, like, does, like, looks over her shoulders, and she goes, all right, gets a little low, and she goes, on Monday, some idiot crossed the kill line and was shot and killed at the Mercury Gate. And ever since then, it's been everyone's on high alert, and they haven't been very friendly, and just please don't be stupid. It makes it really difficult for everyone here. And we're like, oh, shit, someone got killed? Like, wow, like, whoa. So right away, we're thinking like, you like bullshit. She's playing us. Like, who does she think we are?
Yeah, so we just pulled it up. Like, I mean, you just had to Google it and looked it up. And in the local newspaper, like in the area, there was a guy who had been, well, they labeled him as, aggressively or something. He was, he was running into the base or at some of the security guards, holding a cylindrical object of some kind, and they shot him dead. They, apparently they had gave him the command, stop, whatever, and he just didn't, and they kept running, looking like he was gonna do something, and then they shot him dead.
We're like, oh, like maybe she isn't playing with us, right? Like, all right, like, okay, like, we're just gonna drive out there. So we jump back in the Dodge Caravan, scoot out there. Now our plan is we're gonna go to the back gate, and then we're gonna drive back and have lunch before we head back to Vegas. Yeah. Now, so when we're leaving the restaurant, there's 3 other guys in a Dodge Caravan that are leaving just about when we are. There's the old lady, her daughter, and then what my guess is her late husband's brother who is working the kitchen. Mm-hmm. So we leave, follow her instructions, take the second right. Now we're on this dirt road. We turn right onto it. And now the whole time we're like, okay, we've never seen it. We've never seen pictures of it. So we're like, we don't want to pass any line, right? So we've got like eagle eyes trying to be like, make sure we don't go cross any lines.
Right.
It's not a long drive, but the anticipation is building to see the gate.
Yeah.
And it's the desert, so you can see pretty far, but like, just the little bits of rise and falls in the like natural landscape will like impede your vision, and then you'll get to see it all open again. So around every corner, is that it? Is that it? Is that it? Oh God, is that it?
Yeah.
Come around the last corner, and you now we see it. Like, it's distinctly, this is the gate, 100%. So as we're driving in, I noticed that the van behind us is now following us in, right? So we've got like a team of 2 Dodge Caravans. I think they were driving a van too. It's raining. The dirt road's getting a little mucky, and it does get a little sloppy. So if you're going, I would recommend, if the weather's looking bad, get something with 4x4. That's what I'd recommend to you right now. After having
it's all
gone
dirt
there.
road. I mean, when you turn off the main road, because there's only really one road going out there after Alien Inn, it's just dirt road. Once you get to a certain point, though, like closer to the gate, as you'll know you're getting there because the road kind of evens out. Like it's not too bad. It's almost like it's paved. Apparently, they use the gate for large shipments that can't come in the front gate, so they use stuff whenever they got to bring stuff in through the back, or it's a large shipment or something. They'll bring it in through this gate that we were going to.
So when you get out there, like you get to the gate, she said, take your pictures and then haul ass out of there. What are you taking pictures of? What's out there to see?
The gate.
The gate. It's a really, like, it's funny because you're like, it's just a gate. But then when you're out there, you're like, it's just cool because you're like, this is where all this stuff originated. Like so many of the conspiracies and the stuff we do, it all is shrouded in mystery right at this. And if you cross that line, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
So it is a very cool experience. So Dan got a little scared when he was driving. He pulled off a little early to turn around, and the van behind us just went zipping right up to the gate. So we're like, well, okay, if they're going right up, we'll go really close too. So they pulled up, and they pulled parallel to the gate. So now they're blocking the gate. So we're kind of like, ooh, she said don't do that, and she also said don't be stupid. So we go and we kind of pull beside them and turn around so the car's around. Everyone's out. We're taking the pictures. It's no drone zone. You can see the cameras in the background. All the windows are tinted, so you're not sure if people are looking at you.
Yeah. Well, like the window. Wait, the windows of what? Like there are buildings?
There's a guardhouse there. There's a guardhouse at the gate with like it's just pretty much got like an arm across the thing. It's just got a gate lowered. And there's a little guardhouse, and there's a couple other guard shacks or little kind of places probably for people to hang out when the gate is actually manned. But I don't think they actually man the gate unless they have a shipment coming through.
Well, that's debatable.
I mean, they don't put staff on the gate, like in the gatehouse, unless stuff is coming through.
So, a little precursor, the fabled Area 51 security, you can recognize them because they either drive white trucks, white GMCs, white Ford F-350s, or my personal favorite, 90s style white Jeep Grand Cherokees.
Like they're in a Poison video?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And the security team themselves is almost urban legend. So these guys that we're with, the other van, they're kind of out, and one guy got pretty close to the gate, and we're like, all right, you know what? Let's get out of here. So we walk back to our van. We jump in, and their van, they kind of jump in, and they scooch ahead of us. So now we're all driving back down the dirt road. And Zell filmed a video. He was filming a big selfie, like, we did it. We made it, like, off the bucket list. Woo, woo. And, like, as soon as he said that, I'm looking ahead, and there's just a white truck out of nowhere sitting on the side of the road. I mean, this desert, like, we should have seen it. Dan said there's some clever little impressions where he thinks that truck was probably sitting.
No, thanks. I know that's where they were.
Sorry. I forgot. Dan knows. So the van in front of us kind of slows down for the truck and then pins it. Is just humming. And this road is now like a muck pit. Like it's super gross out.
Yeah.
The truck goes flying after the front van. So we're like, oh, shit. So we're driving, trying to keep up, but we can't. The road's way too muddy. We're slipping all over the place. You're getting pulled into divots, and they're gone. The van, like every time we come up with an impression, you can see the van and the white truck way off in the distance, like gone. We're so muddy, we can't figure out how to turn on our back wipers. We're like, is there someone following us? We don't know. Just keep driving. Keep it steady and just keep driving because everyone said just don't stop. Like they can't pull you over. They'll just tail you out. So we're like, okay, like just keep driving. It's all good. Like just keep driving. We come over like the last impression before you hit the highway again.
Yeah.
And we can see the van turning onto the highway and the white truck is gone. Nowhere to be seen. Don't know where it is. So we're like, well, that's weird. Like, where did it go? We're kind of looking now. There's a couple little tiny goat trails and stuff, but I don't know. I couldn't see it anywhere. Very cool ride out of there. Very cool ride out of there. If we were being followed, we don't know. We don't know if we were. We couldn't see it. It was so muddy.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, man, like, let's go back to the diner, sit. Like, wow, what a cool experience. We got to see the white security trucks. They're real. So we go back to the alien. As we pull in, there's now a white, like a Chevy Colorado parked out front.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, like, haha, security, haha, they've came here, haha. We go inside, and the old lady's there, and she's like, oh, she was like very bright and chipper before, very friendly. And we came in, and she's like, oh, good, you guys made it there, you came back? And we're like, yep. She's like, good. She just like grabs her purse, and her and her daughter just leave. Just like, whoop, out the front door. We're like, oh, okay, like, oh, that's weird. Well, and then this guy comes out, and maybe he works there, but he comes out, and he's got like tactical pants on. He's got like bracelets. He's tattooed. He's got the like that like mercenary haircut, high and tight, slicked back. And you're like, we're kind of like, all right, this is kind of weird. And now in the kitchen is this other really big guy, right? This other big guy, and he's standing there cross-armed. Guy comes up, and he's like, well, what can I get you fellas, right? And we're like, okay, well, we're going to order some food. We got the alien burgers. It's a burger cut in half and then put on a hot dog bun. I'll spoil the surprise.
That's what aliens eat.
But
everybody knows that.
So this guy right away is like super like cold and not the friendliest person. So like we're sitting there talking about it, like, man, that was so fun. Like, what a good experience. And Zell turns to me and goes, hey man, like, I bet you see like a lot of stuff around here, eh? What kind of stuff do you see? And the guy goes, around here, we see all sorts of things. And then just stops talking. And we're like, okay, like, all right. Like, and then this buddy in the kitchen is just standing like at the kitchen, just standing there, just like chilling, just watching us. And we're like, oh, like you could just feel the vibe in the room completely change, right?
Yeah.
So we eat our hot dog burgers again. Maybe I'd go for something else. So our friends show up now. Our friends who are going to come to the back gate. We tell them our experience, and we're like, oh, you know, like this and that. And we're like, you can go, and they'll give you a map. So our one friend goes up to the front counter. He's like, hey, can I just buy one of the maps? And he goes, we don't sell any kind of maps here. And so like he kind of like he looks back at me and he's like, oh, I thought you just said. And I'm like, I go up and literally right in front of where this guy's now saying they don't sell maps, I grab one of the maps and I'm like, it's right here. Like, here it is. And like he kind of gives me a weird look. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we all kind of like slunk back to our seats. We're like, all right. And then we're like, we're going to get out of here. It's kind of weird. These guys are creeping us out. So our friends are like, okay, we're going to go to the back gate. They went, and as they're getting up to the gate, not even just where they can see it, two white vans come out of the gate and block the road. Huh. So they can't go. So they just stop and they're like, ugh. Take some pictures from way far back. Yeah. They turn around and say the vans followed them right out. Wow. So the whole time driving back, we're like, you know, the conspiracy theorists in us were like, do they have that alien bugged? Were they listening to us? So like, were those mercenaries that took over the restaurant there? Well, like after the ladies left, because I didn't see any pictures of those two guys up on the walls anywhere, and you know, all the rest of the families posted up. So I was like, there's only 4 trailers in the town of Rachel. Like, this guy just was. It was very weird, very weird.
Dan, what would like? Give me your impression of the whole trip. Like, how did it leave you feeling?
I was pretty excited. I mean, we just got to see one of the coolest secretive places in all paranormal history. It's where it all kind of started. It was really neat to go and see. I guess you just like, it is a piece of history. You know, when you get out there, you feel, I didn't feel underwhelmed. It was pretty much like what I expected. When you watch enough, like, you know, alien documentaries, you've seen this kind of stuff. You're like, it's not going to be that impressive. We're still 100 miles or whatever from the base itself. Like, you won't be able to see any airfields or anything like that. But you just see it, and you see all the signs that say, you know, no photos beyond this point, no drone zone, do not pass under penalty of military, And yeah, seeing the white truck was that really was something cool, because those are like, they're mythic, like they're almost like a myth. You know, I didn't expect to see them, and I really don't think we would have saw them if that group that tailed us in. I guess there's something that people do when they go to the gate. I guess they call it like touch and run or something like that, where like I guess if you touch the gate or you touch something on the gate, that's what their signal for the security forces to do something. Like they'll come out. And so these guys, I think, parked next to it. And I think I saw one of the guys like putting his hand out, and either they were taking photos or video, and he touched the sign. He actually physically touched the gate. And that's probably what set off what summoned the security forces when they headed out. Because nobody, I'm like 90% sure nobody was tailing us out, but we didn't really do anything. And those guys had actually, I'm pretty sure they had physically touched the gate, and that's the big thing where they just followed them out. And that probably is what set off the other guys too. But calling those guys, just seeing that van come out of almost nowhere, and just right up on those dudes, and they took off. It's just, that was something else.
If you're into aliens, UFOs, and various other out there theories, check out the Alien Theorists Theorizing podcast at alientheorists.com, or look for their show wherever you get your podcasts. And if I'm not giving you enough Las Vegas content, hit up my good friend and fellow Vegas podcaster, Chris Kim, and check out the Faces and Aces Las Vegas podcast, which you can find at facesandaceslv.com and anywhere else you find podcasts. And that's a wrap for this episode of the show. As always, if you've got feedback on this episode, or any episode for that matter, or if you're looking for ideas on where to stay, where to eat, and what to see and do on your upcoming Las Vegas vacation, please feel free to reach out. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Jeff Does Vegas, or you can email me directly at jeff@walkernewmedia.com. As for my own upcoming Vegas vacation, I'm stoked for this next one, July 14th to 18th. As I told you last episode, I put the invite out to my dad to join me on the trip, and he said yes. It's going to be his first trip to Las Vegas, so I'm looking forward to showing him around town, taking in a few shows, enjoying a few great meals, and introducing him to my Vegas family and friends. It's also the first time that he and I have really traveled together, so this could definitely get interesting. In the meantime, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to subscribe for free wherever you get your podcasts, so you'll be notified the instant a new episode is posted. Also, be sure to head over to jeffdoesvegas.com for past episodes and show notes. My name is Jeff, and this has been episode number 26 of the Jeff Does Vegas podcast, a Walker New Media production.